So today, the focus is, like I said, a bit not necessarily selfish, but personal, because it is the field I work in.
Okay.
And some of the gaps that we have, and the biggest one, I believe, is nobody sits us down during medical training to talk about money management, running a business, investing, financial goals, nothing like that. So I just want us to start to demystify money for the medical practitioner.
People are just not ready to talk about money. There's a lot of stigma when it comes to talking about money. People are afraid to say, what you earn or how much debt you're in. So there's a lot of stigma that comes with that. And from my experience, especially working with medics, is you earn a certain amount of money, but you really just don't know what to do with that money.
Right. You need to dress the part, look the part, drive the part.
Yes.
So then instead of budgeting, like you said, now I prioritize big spending.
You need to be able to think positively about money.
Right.
You need to be able to think that money is good for you, money works for you, you need money, and your money can grow.
Paint a picture around taxes to do with a medical practice.
Okay.
Or running a business as a medic, because that's one of the places we just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, do I have to pay on income? What does that look like? Because again, remember the gray area. Is this my money or the business's money? So am I? And a lot of times I've seen a lot of colleagues, we get double taxed.
Yes.
Because I'm paying through the business and then I'm still paying as an income.
Yes.
So those are things I think we need to just maybe define a few of the taxes and what is applicable and what is not. So we can come into, again, I feel like that's a whole conversation in itself. Because if you ask us, we never retire. We will never age. We are ageless. We will never lose our skills. We will never stop working.
Actually, I was just thinking about that this morning.
That's one of our biggest challenges. We work till we drop. That's the reality in healthcare.
Okay.
But a lot of it, sometimes I feel it's because we didn't manage money well or know any better. Because again, this is a skill we are having to learn from scratch.
Yes.
Retire. Hi everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Circling the Rabbit Hole podcast with me, Dr. Claire Kinuthia. Today, yet again, we are on location at Ashley Furniture, our new home for the season, and I'm excited to be having a conversation that I need more than most of you. So I'm going to base it off of me. This is a selfish space, but at least we are going to learn together. And that's money matters money for the medical practitioner. I think no one ever talks to us about running a business, working for yourself, working for an employer, but also remembering to charge the appropriate fees. Nobody talks to us that now when you make the money, how do you spend the money? How do you invest? How do you save? What does money management look like? And because I'm as clueless as most other medical... At my big age, I can't say that. I have taught myself a lot since I started practicing, but it's been such a uphill task that I feel it's really, really important to start the conversation so that colleagues behind me, colleagues of my age, colleagues who are older, who are still struggling a bit, trying to figure out how to make money work for them, can educate themselves. So please, this one is for notebooks, notepads, let's learn. And to do this, I have my beautiful guest today, Winnie. Thank you, first of all, so much. I don't think you understand. Like I usually say, I'm excited, lakini this one is for Kwaroho.
Thank you.
I'm really, really excited to have you because it's a topic that we are so uncomfortable talking about. And I think maybe it's cultural as well, that you're not supposed to shout about money matters. You're not supposed to talk about how much you earn or how you're investing. And yet it leaves us open for so many of the failures that we are seeing with, learning how to spend or overspending or underspending because you're so scared of making money work for you. So as is the tradition on the podcast, I will ask you to introduce yourself. Okay. Tell us what you do. Tell us where to find you. Because watu wengi, also don't overtake clients, I'm priority. Okay. But tell us a little bit about who you are and then what you do and where we can find you.
Right. So thank you so much for having me, Claire. My name is Winnie. I am a wealth manager. I'd like to call myself, quite a number of things, money, but I help people manage their wealth. I help people build wealth, and I help people create wealth. Yes.
I love that.
Yes,
I love the
yes.
word wealth. It just
Yeah.
makes you feel so
Yeah.
bougie,
Yes,
posh, all those amazing things.
Yeah.
So today, the focus is, like I said, a bit not necessarily selfish, but personal, because it is the field I work in.
Okay.
And some of the gaps that we have, and the biggest one, I believe, is nobody sits us down during medical training to talk about money management, running a business, investing, financial goals, nothing like that. So I just want us to start to demystify money for the medical practitioner. From your experience working with us, what are some of the challenges you've seen or some of the holdups you've seen with medics in general and how we manage money?
That's a good question. To start with, people are just not ready to talk about money. There's a lot of stigma when it comes to talking about money.
Yeah.
People are afraid to say, what you earn or how much debt you're in. So there's a lot of stigma that comes with that. And from my experience, especially working with medics, is you earn a certain amount of money, but you really just don't know what to do with that money.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. And that's how we end up splurging where we shouldn't be, and not, I'd say it's more of lack of a respect for money, because sometimes it's almost rare that you're being paid.
Yeah.
Specific to our scenario here in Kenya, we start off struggle mode because we don't really make money until after school.
Yeah.
So we're entering the job market much later. Med school, it's 5 years or 6 years of school. By the time I'm done, my age mates who I went to high school with are already 2 years into working.
Yeah.
Right? So already I'm starting from a negative or I'm behind in the race, so to speak. Then we enter the job market and the government kicks in. And I remember, if I speak for myself, my internship, we were being paid 30,000 a month, but we were only first paid our first salary 6 months in.
Okay.
So I was literally, in fact, forget even broke, poor, because I'm literally in debt.
Yeah.
Because I'm having to be supported before my first salaries kick in. Yeah. And then when they paid us, they paid me all 6 months at the same time. Suddenly, I'm the richest person. So the biggest TV.
That's what you got.
Instead of buying a fridge, you go and buy the biggest TV, the sound system of the time. Because again, it's just excitement. I finally have some money in my pocket. Just that basic picture. What should I have done better? What could I have done better?
I think in hindsight, you probably didn't know any better. But when now we think about that age group right now, and especially with the knowledge that people have right now about finance, I would say maybe what you should have done was talk to someone.
Okay.
You get X amount of money and you're like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know for sure maybe if government wasn't able to pay me for 6 months, they're not going to pay me at some other point.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to figure how to plan that.
Yeah. Because I think also planning where your income, which is more common for us in healthcare, is your income is very sporadic.
Yeah.
You're only being paid pretty much at the whim of someone else whenever they feel like, or if it's secondary pairs like insurance, they'll pay months later. So you can't really plan your money. How do I avoid going into further debt? Because again, med school is a cost.
Yeah.
Training is a huge cost. Sometimes you have family who can help, but a lot of the times you have to figure it out on your own. And that's how we end up working crazy shifts just around your school times to try and stay alive pretty much.
Absolutely.
But how can I plan? Can I plan myself when I don't know when I'm being paid?
It sounds very cliche, but you can. And it really starts with something as simple as budgeting. You really need to be able to say, this is how much I get, and this is what I need to do with this money.
Right.
So once you know that this is how much you need to spend within a month, first you're able to now get out of debt, or at least stay out of debt. But if you're already in debt, then now you need to figure, do we look for other sources of income, or do we reduce our expenditure?
Right, right. Okay.
Quite a painful process, but it's just the reality.
Because budget, you say the word budget casually, me I cringe.
No. It's really just planning, what are your wants and what are your needs versus your expenses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And income.
Okay. Najifunza. I'm like, budget. Do we have a budget?
Do we?
Leave first. Okay. Leave. That one, sidebar. We'll have a sidebar conversation. But then, we've talked about my internship. We go into, now I'm steadily working.
Yeah.
Income is a bit more regular. And the way we are paid, a lot of the times, you could be on a salary basis because you work at an institution, but then you also get paid per procedure in some places, or you're working extra shifts in other places where you're paid per procedure or per hour. So you're growing your income steadily. But you're still young. More likely than not, either not started a family or very young family. Where should my mind be in general? Because I know where it was then.
Okay.
At that time now, that was when I was like, you know what? You have to look like a doctor. You need to dress the part, look the part, drive the part.
Yes.
So then instead of budgeting, like you said, now I prioritize big spending that might not necessarily, it's not useless. You need a car to get to these shifts, right?
And you need to look the part.
And you kind of need to look like the doctor so that people can also be like,
absolutely.
This is not a witch doctor, this is a doctor.
Yeah.
So in terms of now, okay, sawa nimeanza, I'm a bit more settled.
Okay.
Where should my mind be in terms of prioritizing?
Okay.
Because yes, now I have a budget.
Yes.
And I'm steady income a bit. But I'm scared. I've lived through luck.
Yeah.
Because that's informing my decision making now. So somebody at that phase, what would you generally advise? Because today it's setting up the understanding of the challenges the medics are facing rather than problem solving. But generally speaking, now I'm in this space. Where should my mind be when it comes to my money?
Okay. So literally your mind needs to be, how do I put it? You need to be able to think positively about money.
Right.
You need to be able to think that money is good for you. Money works for you. You need money and your money can grow.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So once you do that, we then now discuss what your goals are. Because whether you're in this space or that space, we need to figure why what we're earning and why we actually need to put this money aside, So we need to figure out the goals and then we come up with a plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Coming up with a plan. I like that. But life is still lifing.
Yes.
We are still growing. Maybe family kicks in. But more importantly, even before I go ahead, we still think about going back a bit. Because during this phase where I was establishing myself, there may have been a lot of debt acquired. Yes. This is through studying, so med school, the cost of med school itself. You could have had a school loan to help you get through university. Yes. You could have borrowed from relatives, or relatives were supporting you with the expectation.
Yes.
Because now, yes, you're earning. Are you just earning for you? Less likely that it is that you're fully independent. Debt. Niko na madeni. Lakini tu pesa tuko hivi. My mindset. Where should my mindset be?
Again, your mindset needs to be in a place where you can say, I can get out of this debt. Then I'll come speak to Winnie. Okay. Come speak to Winnie.
Yeah.
We look at what your debt scenario is.
Right.
Because debt can be really, really vicious. So yes, you earn this income, but it all goes to paying debt. So you say you get 20,000, you pay your 15,000, you have to borrow 18,000. Exactly. So it's quite vicious. So you need to be able to sit with someone, see how you can realign your goals, your income, and your expenses. Okay. Then now we figure what ways we can use to reduce your debt.
How you've said again, you're very. We bring it back down. Sit with someone.
Okay.
This is scary. Because what you're asking is, I come from a background where I don't talk about my money. And I can't talk about my debt because I'm daktari. I'm supposed to be the, nishafika. I'm the one who have established myself. I look a certain way. I have, bought the big machine, the big German machine, which is now kicking my butt to maintain. Yes. But again, talking about money is so uncomfortable. Now you want me to come to a stranger. I come to Winnie. It's almost like therapy.
It actually is therapy.
Right. Yeah. Because then I'm like, how vulnerable can I be? So from experience, paint me a picture. I've come to you and I've come and told you, Haya, I'm very practical with these things. I earn 30,000, Winnie.
Yes.
And I am in debt $1 million from school.
Okay.
And I'm also have small debts here and there. You know, the landlord was paid late a few times. Some I wasn't able to pay. Auntie Nani was in hospital, so I had to contribute something.
Yeah.
The nurses brought me cards to fill to help contribute to somebody's emergency health something. And again, as daktari, you can't say no because you have money.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've come to Winnie. I don't even know where to start.
Okay.
How does this conversation start? How do I get to a place? How do you work with people to get them to a place where they feel comfortable enough to actually talk about the real issues and address them and face them without feeling like I'm failing?
Yeah. Okay. So that, like you said, it's actually like therapy. So first, it's very important that you feel safe when you're talking to someone about money, especially, say, like a wealth consultant. So first, if we've addressed the safety, then we can now have difficult conversations.
Right.
You'll find some people, after addressing the safety, they're like, hey, let me just wait it out.
Yeah.
I'll come when I'm ready.
Yeah.
Because if you're $1 million shillings in debt and you earn 30,000, that's a difficult conversation.
Exactly, right?
So we need to figure, do we need to approach a bank to consolidate this debt? Figure how we can reduce the amounts payable. So it's really, we literally have to have a conversation.
We have to have a conversation
Yes,
and actually chart out like a path to come out from under this debt.
Absolutely. But the beauty is that it's all possible.
I like, again, listen, me, I'm reflecting the audience right now. We're all just uncomfortable thinking, she's so chill about money. Me, I'm trying to rub two coins together to stay afloat. Yeah. But then you've mentioned an interesting concept where borrowing to consolidate debt. That sounds counterproductive to me.
It sounds counterproductive, and that's because you're literally approaching this financial and saying, I am in debt of 1 million shillings, but my income cannot afford to pay this debt.
Yeah.
So how can we help each other?
Right.
The reality is banks are happy to give you money.
Really?
Yes. And you can negotiate. Again, there's a lot of things people don't know, but you can go and negotiate. You can negotiate longer periods, lower interest amounts. Yeah.
Okay. So we shouldn't be afraid to borrow to fix our issues.
No, but with a plan.
With a plan.
We need
not
a
borrow
very,
to spend,
very...
not borrow to
no.
continue on lifestyle matters.
No. We don't borrow to consume.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'm still going to run with this story for my 30K. So out of the 30K, and I have debt, and I'm trying to make ends meet for day-to-day living. Should I be thinking at all about savings? At the point at which I'm at, because everyone is telling me invest, save, put something aside, retirement is coming. Should my mindset, again, I'm still young.
Yeah.
We're still just establishing ourselves. Maybe family is now kicking in. I'm already thinking school fees is coming. You know, my rent is growing because I have to get a bigger space.
Yeah.
Where again should my mind be in terms of making my money work for me at this point?
Okay, so what I would say is debt. Like even if you're in debt. And you want to clear debt, that's a goal, that's an objective, okay? So you might want to think savings, but you need to first clear your debt. But you can also do both concurrently.
Okay.
Again, once we sit down and analyze what your income space is, what your expenditure is, like we have difficult conversation. Hapo kwa expenditure kwanza sana. Yeah. So that we see how can we figure how to reduce the debt you're in. And then at what point do we then start saving? So when we're working together, we are discussing goals, we are discussing timelines, we are discussing reasonable, tangible amounts of money so that you're also not feeling too much pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still continuing in life. Okay. Tunaendelea. Today we're painting pictures. Today we're painting pictures. Yeah. We problem solve as we build in. Yes. Because for me, I feel like this conversation is too much to have in one episode. We should build a little bit. Absolutely. So hopefully we can help solve a few issues, help break things down now in detail. But just to understand. Yeah. Now, I'm no longer as young, but I'm not yet, as old as where I am now. But again, my salary is increasing. I'm getting a little bit more money. And even as it is, of course, the family is growing, so I'm getting a little bit more expenses. How do I... no, that's the wrong question. Okay, so we are growing. I've been working for someone.
Okay.
Most people tell you when you're a doctor or a medical practitioner, you're better off if you have your own business. Okay, open a practice. In fact, we don't even call it a business because we're not taught to think like a business person. So open a practice and start seeing patients, and then all that money comes to you. What should I be thinking about in terms of a hire? When do you feel, or maybe not when, but what should be informing my decision towards private practice versus keeping a leg in employment? Because the reality of Kenya as well is a lot of us do both. You're employed, but then you also have a side gig, or you're working what we call locums, which is shift-based kind of system in a hospital setting. Or now I'm thinking, let me have a practice and really dedicate myself there.
So
Acha swali inanishinda.
I know but I think the decision to set up a practice, that's a personal decision to start with. But once you are certain that's something you want to do, you need to think about Dr. Claire as Dr. Claire and your practice as your practice,
right?
So that whatever income and expenses you have as a person are yours. Run your business totally separately from you as an individual.
Shout for the ones in the back, please, because we mix the two directly.
So the same way you have your personal goals, your short, medium and long-term goals, you have the same for your business. If you're setting up a personal emergency fund, your business needs a personal emergency fund, a business emergency fund.
Right.
It needs a retirement plan.
Right.
You get.
Right,
So
those are the details we're going to come to. Okay.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm feeling less shaky. Good. That's the best part. We are here to learn. We are here to grow. Running a business in Kenya. What don't I know? Because I'm here, I'm thinking, let me open a practice. But I'm thinking of it as a practice. In my mind, I'll make money. I will pay the bills for the practice. And the rest, like you said, because I don't think of it as separate from me. The rest, ni yangu. Okay? I'm speaking from the experience of any medic listening to this is like, okay, I've started to think of someone like a nurse. Yes, I work in a hospital, but I've also started to have direct nursing care, home-based care. Stepping out a bit and doing extra shifts in different facilities, or even working in a private practice for a doctor.
Okay.
So I have little extra income here and there. But it's income from what? Is that my money? Because me, I'm working on a shift basis. So nalipwa per hour. Nalipwa per... How do I... is it my money? Is it a business? What would the setup be? What would the ideal situation be? Because again, a lot of us will do this shift running around, making as much as we can, working with very limited time because you're working all the time. So you're barely... It's work and sleep. There's nothing in between. So then now I am working and money comes in, but I'm spending because it's keeping me alive. How do I make a distinction?
So you need to be able to very clearly distinguish each source of income that you have. So if it's say the locums you're talking about, if it's say your practice, these are two totally different things.
Right.
So again, it sounds dramatic, but the reality is, if these locums give you these levels of income, and you really do not need that income to say build your other sources of income, put that money aside.
Put that money aside. This is where now investing comes in. Okay. Actually, very smart advice.
Just put that money aside.
Stop feeling like now I can start going country hopping.
You can, because we can plan for that.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Okay, so it doesn't have to be one or the other.
No.
Because again, we're also trained for extreme.
No, not at all. So when we sit down to discuss your goals, I actually tell you just be as crazy as you want. Because the reality is you still want to live your life.
Yeah, you want to.
If you like to travel, you want to travel.
You're not suffering.
Yeah, but we can do it. We can do it in a very structured and seamless manner, so that you're also not feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
You probably just need to work harder.
Which we're good at, to be fair.
Absolutely.
When I think about it, I'm like, that's not... I don't think that's the problem. I think it's we're working so hard and not prioritizing.
or planning.
How to planning around what you're making.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Money conversation around the reality of instability, so to speak.
Okay.
So generally speaking, will be a high earner in terms of a medic. So I'm running around. When you put the monies together, it's quite a bit of money over time.
Okay.
But it's sporadic. So if I don't go on the shift, if I'm sick, if I'm on holiday, if I'm taking a break for whatever reason, if I just can't be in two places at the same time, that's a loss in my income. So there's still that insecurity of I'm not necessarily stable income. Like I can't sit like someone who's employed and say, I'm making 150,000 a month.
Yeah.
This is what my budget looks like. This is how I want to spend my money. So I still don't have that stability.
Yeah.
What's my approach now?
Again, you can have that stability through proper planning.
Right.
I can shout about goals from here to Timbuktu, by the way.
Right.
Because I've seen it work. Like you can literally say, okay, I'm self-employed or I run my own businesses, but this is how much I need to live my life. This is how much my business needs to operate. So again, back to planning.
Back to
Like
so
we sit down and go through
planning.
serious Excel sheets.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, Excel
yes.
sheets.
But not in a dramatic way. Not in a dramatic way. Yeah.
You can tell
because you
how
need to also
about
feel
it.
safe even while there's instability with your income. And it's possible to do that. Yeah.
Why do you think we're so timid about money? Or afraid? Let me not even call it timid. We're deathly afraid of money.
Yeah.
Why is that the case?
I think it stems from back in the day. Our parents were not open to talk to us about money.
Right, yeah.
Some were, others were not. So I guess it stems from how we grew up or what was our environment as we grew up. But I also say if as you grow up and this is something you really want to do, then we can work on being quite open-minded about it.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Mindset.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking, it's true, background did have a big influence on how I am with my money, for sure.
Yes.
And it just depends on whether you grew up in a lack or scarcity situation where you kept being reminded money doesn't grow on trees.
That's true.
Every millennial knows I'm a millennial now. Because that was the running statement.
Yeah.
Money does not grow on trees.
Yeah.
You want something, instead of being taught positively that you can earn the money to get the thing you want, it's more of, no, we can't afford that. Or that's not an important, that's a want, not a need. And the only things you were taught were needs were basic food, shelter,
and clothing.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Everything else is an extra.
Yeah.
And I believe even now, I know enough of my circle who still don't think a car is a priority.
Okay.
You get what I mean? Like in the grand scheme of living life, given how much you have to move around, and I'm talking about medics specifically, because of work, you're still sitting there saying a car is a luxury. But I'm spending so much on transport. The Ubers, it adds up.
Absolutely.
But for some reason, I'm completely blinded on that side.
Yeah.
The other one I look at is housing. Should I be buying? Should I be renting? Where? Because again, when you talk to our parents and you're paying rent, they're looking at you like, what's wrong with you? You should buy now. I'm sure you can make enough to buy a piece of land. And they tell you to buy a land. We don't talk about
50 by hundreds.
That should be your priority.
Yeah.
Forget about living in the city, build something away. And then, but again, the commutes, for someone whose work is zigzagging, because that's a unique situation about a medic. It's unlikely you'll have someone who only just works in one place.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think when we discuss money, we talk about something called a life cycle. So you need, based on your age, you need to know what you need to be doing. So that helps you figure, do you want to buy a home now? Do you want to maybe wait it out 3 years? Because if you're 18, for example, ideally what should you be doing at 18?
Going to school.
Right, probably about to join university. So you're thinking you need to, I don't know, what do people do at 18?
computer and driving.
Such things. But someone who's, say, 45, they're thinking, okay, kids, they're thinking school fees, they're thinking higher education, they're thinking homes. So now at that point, then you can now plan and say, okay, I am now 45. This is what I need to be doing. So as we go on with this conversation, you'll be able to understand better the investor life cycle,
so
that you know what you need to be doing at what stage in your life.
Investor life cycle. I'm now taking notes. I'm like, okay.
Investor life cycle, because at some point you need to be accumulating, literally working so much to get liquidity. At some point you need to be consolidating your assets. At some point, you need to be able to be transferring to the next generation. So you need to be able to understand where what falls based on your age.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's a big conversation for us.
That's another conversation.
Okay. Ooh, this is getting exciting. Ooh, I can see how much we're going to pick up on.
That's a whole episode in itself.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So we are coming back to that one.
Absolutely.
Let's put it there.
Okay.
Is there such a thing as good debt?
Yes.
This is a very good question I get from the younger people, because when you say take a loan, I'm like,
why are you taking a loan? No, there is good debt. And just like you need to ask yourself why. I know that sounds so cliche, but you really need to ask yourself why you want to take debt. And over and above that, you need to think, how is this debt going to be repaid? What are the mechanisms you can put into place to ensure that you're able to repay this debt? If you take up a mortgage today, for example, and you sit down and do the costs, and you see that it makes sense for you to, say, pay off this mortgage, by all means.
Right.
But if you're taking that mortgage to buy that apartment because Dr. Claire has bought an apartment, and you can pay for it.
At this point, I'm supposed to be at this.
Yeah. So you end up going into more debt because you can't afford the cost of that debt. Yeah. And that's where it starts becoming very vicious.
Right. This big one. I'm fighting not to feel triggered today. I'm just like, okay, we have a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. First of all, being comfortable enough to have the conversation about money. That's the first thing I'm thinking in my mind. And then secondly, being open to learning, because your way is not the highway. Like,
absolutely.
I'm here because I need to know better, and I need to educate myself.
Absolutely.
Are there specific ways that medics, we are readers, we are learners, we listen to our podcast, we are always trying to grow our minds, especially to do with medicine? Are there ways we can educate ourselves around financial literacy? Anything that you, working in the industry, that you have seen is working for, because again, we're all starting from scratch.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of times, that business education, me, all it did is teach me how to fear spreadsheets.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
That's all I did, and I'm still coming out of you send me a spreadsheet, my brain hangs. I'm like, you couldn't have written word. Like, what are we doing? So how are there specific, I don't know, resources we can be looking into in terms of helping us understand money, to start, even as we continue this conversation, someone may be sitting there going, gosh, I actually don't know anything about the basics of money making, money generating, investing, growing myself as a person. Any resources you'd advise that we plug into?
So there's quite a number. First, there's a lot of information online. There are a lot of podcasts about money. There are so many people who are doing financial literacy classes. There's master classes. There are so many financial coaches.
Right.
I would probably just need to start listing. But so there's a lot of resources out there.
I felt it. I felt it, and I've seen the next question, because somebody's sitting there going, Sasa, you want me to trust a random with money matters? How do I avoid being conned? Because again, that's where our first head goes. Your first thought
true. That's very,
goes,
very true.
How do I select in a way that's safe? Like we said, safety is key.
Very.
What are the things I should be looking at? Because I mean, I've seen them. These get rich quick schemes. There's I'll come I teach you how to be a millionaire. Come I teach you how to grow or learn how to invest and stuff. But then first, you're charging me a lot of money to do it. And then secondly, what are my guarantees? Are there guarantees? Are there, should I be having expectations? Because if you said you'll deliver, but I come out with information and I'm still in my big debt. So how do I avoid that trap of or rather, how do I select so that I'm safe, protect myself from being conned? Because that's usually the biggest fear.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So once you are ready to speak, say, to a financial advisor, there are questions you need to ask. This now again you'll say sounds dramatic,
right?
But you just need to ask the question about regulation. Yes, whatever or where you want to take your money, if the space is not regulated, please turn back and go home.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because what regulation does, it gives you a fallback plan. In case anything goes bad, I can reach out to X and X and actually get back what I need to get back, or get what I need to get done.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Regulation, but also speak to, if you're directed to a financial advisor, do a lot of background checks, due diligence.
How do we do that though? Because again, listen, I'm coming from a space of not knowing.
Yeah.
So are there bodies that they get registered?
Yes.
And monitored, and I can find, because like for us, again, being a doctor is very straightforward. If you want to find out if I'm registered, you go to the medical council, you'll find my name and my number.
Yeah.
So then this is somebody who is safe.
Yes.
Does the same exist?
Yes. So you're thinking your number one, your Capital Markets Authority. So you'll find all these fund managers listed.
Right. Okay.
Then you're thinking your Retirement Benefit Authority. And now when you go to insurance, you're thinking Insurance Regulatory Authority.
Right.
So the bodies are there. And you'll actually find everyone who's regulated is listed.
Okay.
So at least that's a first place. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Again, around this, I feel like there's so much, but I'm trying to stop myself from going too deep into anything, because we're just literally learning introduction. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And starting to shed that nervousness around the topic, and even trying to think of what to ask is where my brain, when I first invited you, I was like, there's so much. I know it's such a big gap, but also even the jargon, because again, our thing is medicine. If you ask me anything about head to toe, good. But now coming to even negotiating fees, discussing what pay is owed to me, chasing money, like all those are things that we're really uncomfortable with. Of course, I'm generalizing, but then the majority will be someone who I just don't know any better. And so I'm trying to learn and trying to educate myself. So the first thing is looking at the right information. So try and find respectable sources, podcasts, books. You try and get a little bit of information to prepare yourself to have this money conversation. And then looking for a trusted partner. That's what we're discussing in terms of either a coach to begin with, and then a manager, wealth manager, financial advisors.
Your relationship managers at the bank.
That's what I was going to say. I was thinking, what's RM in full? That's what I was thinking. Relationship manager at the bank. These are places you can go and start the conversation, because this is where you have whoever you have within your circles. That's a good access point.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we are looking at, I don't have a parental figure who I can have this conversation with. So find a professional. Should I be afraid to spend money to make money?
No, that's a mindset issue. That's a mindset issue.
Right.
Making money to spend money.
Spending money
to make money.
Yeah.
So if your goals are very, very well prioritized, then there's no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It all really goes back down to goals.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then the big one, money. Oh, taxes.
That's another whole story altogether.
Taxes. Because again, nobody prepares you. You've decided, okay, I'm a one-man show, so it's my own entrepreneurship journey, or it's a business I'm setting up, because a practice is a business. But the tax man.
Yeah. So taxes are a heavy conversation. So when you decide you want to have a conversation with an advisor, you need to at least understand, and you can't really understand everything, because that's not even for me. There's still questions I have to ask people who are professionals in matters tax. But you need to understand at least the bare minimums,
the ones that are applicable to
like
you,
if you're investing like say if you're investing in a money market fund, you need to at least know how much
is mine
our government
versus is theirs.
At least the bare minimums. Yes.
Okay, so again, I feel like tax we're going to come into play, because it may be helpful maybe for the audience to start to understand, paint a picture around taxes to do with a medical practice.
Okay.
Or running a business as a medic, because that's one of the places we just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, do I have to pay on income? What does that look like? Because again, remember the gray area. Is this my money or the business's money? So am I? And a lot of times I've seen a lot of colleagues, we get double taxed.
Yes.
Because I'm paying through the business and then I'm still paying as an income.
Yes.
So those are things I think we need to just maybe define a few of the taxes and what is applicable and what is not. So we can come into, again, I feel like that's a whole conversation in itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are continuing on my life journey.
Okay.
So I've been working, I've established myself. I met Winnie a long time ago.
Yeah.
We've been walking this journey together. She's helped me stop being so frightful of money and help me plan a little bit.
Yeah.
Then there's the big, let me tell you, and it's a big one for us in healthcare.
Okay.
Retirement.
Yeah.
Because if you ask us, we never retire.
That's
we will never age. We are ageless. We will never lose our skills. We will never stop working.
Actually, I was just thinking about that this morning.
That's one of our biggest challenges.
Yeah.
We work till we drop. That's the reality in healthcare.
Okay.
But a lot of it, sometimes I feel it's because we didn't manage money well
Yes.
or know any better. Because again, this is a skill we are having to learn from scratch.
Yes.
Retirement.
How
can I best prepare myself? Because now, Sawa, me, let's say, if you fixed me, you've helped me come from the shackles of my lack of information.
Yeah.
And now at least I have a bit of a plan.
Yes.
How soon or how early is too early to plan for retirement? Is there such a thing?
Oh my God.
At 18,
but just
at
repeat that
25.
question again. I feel like you've answered yourself.
I've answered myself.
Yes.
You're already late, madam, if you ask me the question now.
No. You start as soon as you're ready to have conversations about money.
Right.
That's the reality. Because retirement is really you deciding when you want to stop active employment. So retirement, we're thinking we need passive income that can either match or even be more than what we were earning when in active employment.
Right.
So again, you need to ask, what number is that? What number am I looking at? Then we work backwards and see, so fine, if you need 10 million in retirement, then we work backwards and see how much more do you need to make now. And then what avenues can we use to now build that? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So again, it shouldn't be as scary as we imagine it to be.
All.
And again,
planning for retirement is a good thing.
You need to say that loudly
No,
for
real.
the medics.
It's a really good
genuinely
thing.
speaking, we don't think like that. That one, if you ask across the board, we all see ourselves working until we drop. In fact, we barely think about breaks. Or taking a holiday. In fact, I get told I'm an outlier in that sense. I just want to disappear once in a while. But most will be like, no. And then?
And the beauty right now in the industry, you don't really have to be employed for you to say you have a retirement plan.
Right.
You see, like you can run your own pension scheme on the side as a business owner or as a self-employed person. So you can't really say because I'm not employed, I can't plan for retirement.
Okay. So it's not necessarily leaning on the retirement plans around the government, because that's where when you're employed.
It does. But now what government did a while back, they were able to now introduce that for self-employed folks.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then there's a way to plan for your retirement.
Yes. So you can even plan for your practice to literally pay you.
You just said
in retirement.
Oh, interesting. Look at me taking notes. Interesting. Okay. I'm excited to explore that a bit more, because that's a whole nother conversation. Maybe now just winding down, because I feel like today we were just setting the pace.
Okay.
Getting people to understand, me included, to feel safe around Winnie, understand what you do and what the role of bringing a teammate, because in this case, this is a teammate.
Absolutely.
Right? I shouldn't be looking at you as fix my problems. This is like therapy. We sit, we discuss,
a
we
journey.
work through this journey.
Yes.
And it's not a quick fix.
Not at
because again, this get rich quick schemes where everything collapses in one sitting.
Yes.
That's not what we're talking about. We're looking at longevity. This is a journey I'll walk with you over the course of probably my entire life, so that I can be as safe, secure, happy with my money. Is it too late to start? If I'm listening to this conversation, if you're me, I'm 40, right? Is it too late to start? Is it because everywhere? You see, we're telling people listen to podcasts. Everywhere you listen, they're like, if you didn't start at 30, it's too late. If you have not planned yourself by 45, there's no time. Is that true?
That's not true. Actually, let me shock you. About maybe say 40 to 45 of my clientele are people in retirement. That means these are people who I started with at 50, 55, 60.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not too late to start. But with a very clear, solid plan. We'll work up this plan with you, then you'll understand why I'm really insisting on this plan. It really helps you see you can start at whatever age.
Right, right. So that you don't feel so intimidated.
Not at all,
because, we start doing the math. I'm like, so I'm supposed to retire, I think for us, in medicine 70. And by 70, and I'm 40, hizo miaka ni chache. Will I be able to catch up with everyone else while still living at a standard expected of me? Because that's key. That's
very,
the key
very
thing
important.
to say. It's not, I must tighten the belt to the point of discomfort in order to make the future make sense. And again, I'll also get the argument that we are not promised a retirement. We're not promised that we'll get there. But at the same time, it doesn't mean you don't plan accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's one of the things I definitely want us to explore, as well as the nitty-gritties of business, especially setting yourself up to start to see yourself as an individual versus a business. Because for us, it's passion. It's passion-driven. You're literally invested as a day-to-day function with your patients. So if you don't think about it as a business, truly, most people, in fact, I'm pretty sure if I sat 5 medics here, most of us run our work as a passion project, not a job, you know.
And you can do both.
Listen to you. Yes.
Yeah. You can do both.
Let me focus on what I love to do, but also make the money work for me. Then we need to talk a little bit more about taxes. And then we do have a lot of insurance conversations to have, I think, because we have to take on insurance. I'm insured to be able to practice. The business has to be insured. And then I have to get healthcare insurance for me and those I'm working with in my business. And then on top of that, there's all other aspects in terms of, do I get life insurance for my family or for my dependents, things like that. So I think that's a whole topic on its own. So hopefully, I have
6
convinced
topics.
you to allow me to call you back again and again so that we have this conversation. Just to wind up, I always ask, do you have any specific takeaways you'd want the audience to leave with? Having listened, there are probably some people who are shaking. Some people we haven't really problem solved. They're sitting there going, wait, I identified with too much of what they were talking about. And now I'm even more scared than I was before. Any key takeaways you'd want the audience to leave with today?
What I'd say first, please allow yourself to forgive yourself for anything that you feel was a mistake in the past. And the fact that you are making a decision or choosing to speak to a professional is a first step in the right direction. And if you find somebody who you relate with well, feel safe around, work on your goals, come up with a clear plan, and you're happy. It's really that simple.
It's that simple.
Yes.
And take away the fear as much as you can.
And as you have these conversations over and over, then the fear just really dies down.
Okay, I love that. Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for agreeing to join me. This conversation for me, like I said, it's personal more than anything else. And because I know the struggle, I'm pretty sure somebody who's been listening today has picked up on things that they'd be like, So to the audience, mine is encouragement that we have a lot to learn. Please, like I said, notebook, notepad. We're going to have a few episodes in this season and then hopefully build a few more. Just depending also on demand. Because I always ask for people to send in questions so that if there's anything specific they want you to cover, then we can look at that specifically. If there are aspects to do with other type of medical practitioners outside of doctors, please send those questions directly because I'll pretty much be asking about what I've lived through. But we want to cover generally all medical practitioners. The other thing I'll say is Winnie's details will be in the description box, in the captions, wherever you find this episode. We will put your details so that anyone who already feels, you know what, I've been thinking about it.
We start.
Let's just start.
Absolutely.
Let's just get started. Slot number 1 being mine.
Fantastic.
That's all I'm saying.
Got it. Okay.
So thank you again for joining me. Thank you for setting a good base.
Yes.
Now we have whet our appetite a bit. Let's see how we build on this conversation.
Fantastic.
To everyone who stuck around to the end of this episode, I hope you're not feeling too intimidated when it comes talking about your money. If you don't feel like you have a safe space around you, stay tuned, because we're going to build that little village and hopefully a community of interested parties, because I'm really passionate about this, and I do want to help, especially wherever you are. It doesn't have to be you are so young you don't know any better. None of us really do.
Absolutely.
But the medical professional, this series is for you. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one.